And welcome back once again, homies, to another wonderful, fantabulous day of North American Challenges right here on the VCT. I'm Ravishing Ravis, most ravishing man on the internet, joined here by the boy Tenrek. How we doing, baby?
It's so good to be here again, Ravish. It's so good to be back in Challengers one more time for the year. It's so great to see all of the classic North American rosters make their way back, some with some changes, a couple with not, and all given a chance to get a piece of this gigantic Challenger Split 3 prize pool, baby. Oh man, so much money up for grabs.
That is indeed correct. Now, we are in an era of off-season tournaments, and we're only going to get better and better tournaments and gameplay as we go along between Challengers, stuff going on in the EU, and even in SEA. It is a very good time to be a Valorant fan. And right now, if you're a fan of NA Valorant, you get to watch the future of North America develop right here, right now, as, you know, they've gone ahead and taken some of our boys. So we need to put more in the system. We need to make sure that we're staying on top. Make sure that everybody there ready to get promoted, which, speaking of which, just so y'all know in terms of how this all works. It's pretty simple, right? It is a 4-group stage, right? Between A, B, C, and D. 8 teams qualify, and they all go into playoffs. And it's double elim, and eventually 2 of them make it through. Simple, easy, cool. Yeah, done. Thanks.
Yeah.
Now you know that you can go sit back, watch, relax, and enjoy some NA challenges.
Yeah,
it's a really good time.
Thank God. I didn't know any of that, so I'm glad I know that. I'm glad I'm aware of that now going into this. That was useful information
when I spread misinformation
specifically
on the internet.
me.
Nice, man.
We will be starting with our first group of the 4 today. Our 4 teams today that we'll get to focus on are TSM and Winthrop University. That game will be played on this main stream, and Ambrosia and Lemonade Stand having a relegation rematch in the secondary match of this tournament over on the B stream on Knights Arena. Then we'll get to cover the winners finals of that. Whoever wins that moves on to the playoffs. Then we'll cover the losers finals of the bracket. Whoever wins that also makes the playoffs, and then we'll do that again, Ravish. We'll do it 3 more bloody times this week, and then we'll have our 8 teams.
That is indeed correct. So you have 4 days of 3 best of 3s to see some of the rising stars and some of the best that NA Challengers has to offer. And the most exciting part is that a lot of these next few days will include roster reveals and huge announcements for people either coming in, being joined back on seeing who else can try to relegate once more as we head on challenges for the next year. But let's focus in on TSM versus Winthrop. Speaking of relegation, such TSM, a story team that made it all the way to Ascension, came also very close to getting finally towards the VC spot. And Winthrop, a collegiate powerhouse that has consistently looked good in many a time, has proven themselves over again. They can hang with the best. This should be a good time. Let's do this.
Despite getting booted out of relegation, Winthrop made their way back through the OQ. Similar Cinderella stories at very different calibers between these 2 teams, but very exciting rosters. TSM making 2 huge changes, getting Core, Ziff, and T-Dog, who will make that shift on the Flex and Sentinel roles. They'll be taking the backup lanes on either side of this early pistol push.
Not ready yet.
Now, considering we are on Sunset, though, I am always inclined to believe that we're going to be bun setting, which is, so that's a shot of Sean Garris.
All roads lead.
For that terminology. Unfortunately, so it seems as though that Ziff has already made his way over there too. The tripwire is there, so you can't just enter right in.
There.
And so just everybody knows, this is patch 9.09. So we're before the chaos happens, so it's okay, guys. Cypher's still good.
Yep. Gentlemen, continuing to shake hands before we engage. It will indeed be a bun set crunch with half of WU ready to play it out. Infiltrator is going to head in. It actually does get a kill
30 seconds
on the
left.
opening. Moves in tandem on B main. Winthrop holds it down early on. TSM going to try for entry number 2 with the help of this breach shoot till that 7 is going to bring to the table. And that duo with Guimon is going to break through into Bo. But just as Flare makes it to the back line, a little too late, but some good chip damage will keep it to 7. But Ziff on the other side will make it a little bit easier for TSM to grab that first pistol round.
Well, it was a rough start for TSM, right? Where you saw them, they just essentially lose a 2 off rip as they went in through near B to try to get through. But eventually ended up being hey, they got 2 of their own, took a couple back, and eventually managed to clutch his way out as TSM do manage to do.
Yes.
Now, a big note on the squad is that this is this TSM squad that was announced, I want to say, less than 48 hours ago. I think 24, which is a surprising part. Now, 7 was talking online about how long they've had to play. To be fair, You know, Sim we've seen most recently at the Sun Invitational, playing alongside EG. Would have got moves like that. So he's back on the squad once again to run it through onto B with TSM. Beautiful too to start off the round.
Yeah, TSM making a clear statement that they want a team that can once again compete for Ascension in North America by picking Sim back up. And yeah, very appropriately done frontlining there from the Neon, who is still doing just fine on this map at the very least. Of course, with the game's changes coming into play, we've had a good amount of actually T1 footage compared to other patches that these teams may have gotten to look at, but definitely not a lot of time to adapt. WU still getting some good picks on the pistols, but T-Dog, Ziff, and Seven can hold it down and make it a 2-0 game.
Yeah, easy enough. This is what makes sense, considering it's the eco, right? You managed to get your 2, you bada bing, bada boom, not much more there. But here is where it actually starts to get interesting too, as to where Winthrop has changed things up in terms of strategy and where they're looking to hold. Now, previously we've seen these stacks up onto A most recently, especially, but specifically, they were leaving moves as just solo anchor on B. I found they've added some support of fire to at least have some actually coverage of watching mid, but actually, yeah, just though once again, I believe it was a bit wrong. It is still 9.09 for the
My
event,
apologies, gang.
Yeah, so
Well, that does mean that, yeah, Neon is doing very much just fine. And Sim's going to have the time of his life. Not this round, he'll go down early first. Rest of TSM going to poke and prod on elbow, while WU will not leave B-side just yet. Actually, a double anchor. This is a little bit committal considering how in TSM is, but they still got the gun diff, and TSM has a lot of time on their plate and some util to get back out, which they'll do. Head back over to Link. Jerk. Nice double kill. Seven now forced to solo peek. How much util does he even have at this point? He still have the blind. Doesn't need it though. Good shot on the Marshall. Double back on the fault line now. Peeking into 2. A little bit too difficult here, and now the rest of Winthrop will make it back. This should be pretty easy from here.
Yeah, it's 2v4 unless they throw monumentally. It simply is not happening. Nice shot by Seven. The lineup was clean from there. Able to land one more for himself, consider where he's at, but I guess kind of cuts to peek in, and they're all just gonna just run up against him. Oh, with the paranoia on top of that too. He's blind, he was concussed, and he's dead. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Well, both these teams have gotten their reps in since these pickups, if not as a team, at least individually. These specifically, the new pickups for TSM, T-Dog, and Ziff have been popping off in some of these off-season tournaments off of TSM. With TSM, their chemistry in scrims and so far in these qualifiers has been really solid. Look, who has a bad thing to say about Ziff or T-Dog?
Yeah, honestly, I can't say I do. T-Dog, as I recently I've actually been consuming some of his content too as well. He's been putting out some pretty good video essays,
Content
right?
king.
Yeah. Dr. Pepper aficionado as well. This is going to be a dangerous peak by mid if they actually go into it. What a shot! Oh my god! Just the movement from him is just able to actually try to get one, but although faded out, Flare still manages to get 2. Top of that, staying clear, gets the paranoia, but peeks into 7. An unfortunate mistake. Well, so landed them in a 3v3. The Rolling Thunder put out on sight. Concussed Infiltrators takes the right click to Seven's dome. Leaves them in a 2v3 by the end of all this. Jerk finds one more. And Winthrop get the comeuppance.
Little skittish. Great early discipline there by Flare, who, if I'm not mistaken, has been on the Winthrop team for a long time, but hasn't been on the main 5 since Challengers split 2 and some non-students came in and filled in the gaps. But now back on the main roster, and he's been doing just fine, holding himself up and getting good numbers for this squad. Yeah, Winthrop, I believe they've played 2 tournaments so far this offseason and cracked the podium in both of them, so definitely a team to be feared.
Well, I mean, let's go ahead and find out right now, right, as to where they were at with that. Yeah, because they were on the for those who dare qualifier as well. Alongside the VCL, they've been competing in a bunch of the Fun Harvest series as well too.
Yes,
and they're doing quite well at those. Oh, Sim!
Whoa! Okay, Sim. That's almost just blatantly disrespectful. He literally tried one shot with the shotgun and was like, nah, I need to ult. Saw his opportunity, took it, got two, and opened a B site blasphemously for this team.
I know exactly where you are.
Yeah,
Come on.
Nah, it's that this mixes is so much tougher right now for Winthrop. They're stuck mashing skill one. Sim firing on all cylinders, but faced with the opponent. Neon Sim the whiffed Bucky.
Love this agent.
Cost him his life. I can't wait for Neon to be nerfed into oblivion. Wow. The crossfire, the sandwich, good enough for TSM to get on the thrifty for themselves.
And just keep holding on to that cross, and everything else, I guess, can be treated as collateral. Gundiff still definitely did ring through there for a moment for TSM. To lock it down and have enough personnel to lock in. It always takes these players a bit to wake up too. They, like you said, they haven't had too much time to warm up or scrim or play as a team. None of these rosters really have. This offseason has been just completely touch and go, and every team is kind of just in a fluid state until VCT starts up again. Infiltrator, early to bed, early to rise, Ditto gone. And TSM down to 4, make it 3, with Blair dealing with the Ditto as well.
The Josh did a lot of work. They saw about 3 mids, but started to just fight things out. And just pretty much make it an aim tool. Down on mid is Sunset. Spike also dropping out as well. So they're kind of lost for words, and Ziff left alone. Wonder where the rest of his team went and where he went wrong. And a switch for the round, faced with a 1v4. All right, Ziff, I want to see one here. I want to see one. They're double stacked. They're not going to give it a chance. Let's go. Right,
good corner check. Good job, Ziff.
I respect it, man.
Yeah. That man can play some good Valorant. He should get signed.
I agree, man. He should get signed.
Oh, man. Sign this man. 2 ults on the board here for WU. Guns back in the tank, too. Momentum is tough to find on defense on Sunset, but if, I mean, there's a time to. It's now for WU.
Yeah. Bunset is
Bunset
it's a tough time to go up against, especially when the team has decided that they're only to be at one side only, and it's constantly B crunches to happen, especially after the A fix early to get us into the util. Seems to be the case right now. The Spikes are leaning towards it with 3 around the side, so they can match them. With all 5 leaning forward, Infiltrator and Nashi waiting on the corner for it. Checks this too. The flash comes out a bit late, and he gets domed immediately. And they're gonna full run it on site here, Tendrick.
That's really rough timing. And TSM very unsure of how to approach this. They really, they're really scared of how much advantage they're holding on to. They just don't have enough intel. But they're able to circumvent by heading to elbow and just take enough angles to make it work anyway.
Spike planted.
Jerk still poking, grabbing one. Now you can line up a good cross, so WU has to wait for the rest of the team to come back. Luckily, they're here. And still with an Omen ult at the very least. Blair can get creative if he wants to. Oh, and he might have to! Skimon, what a turn inside his own smoke! Nasty stuff. Blair, okay. Good touch on the ping. Using the move is GMD. Turn into a 1v2. Not much time on the clock yet, though. I think the best you could do here is just play for some kills. And with one on either side here, yeah. Tough to do that. TSM will retake the lead here, make it 4-3.
Again, another good crossfire set up by TSM to look to balance their post plans, right? Especially playing at what was a pretty rough disadvantage when they were on in 3v3. But GMD's turnaround in his smokes, letting him allow him to get 2. Their one pass as just a spam, and 1 they're pretty much being almost kind of fed to him as it was right in his face too. Keeps it kind of close to TSM, but that's been the case so far. All these rounds have been uber close in terms of just man advantages, as the early round here has been so chaotic, with almost every team losing 1 to 2 each time on both sides. So I find if either one of them manages to keep a full 5 near the mid round, and they might be able to close it.
Yeah, unskippable neon cutscene at the beginning is pretty brutal. Fun set time for TSM. Yep. Flare holding pretty close with this sheriff. Brave man. But I believe. Okay. Good shot on the sim. Hey, you know what would be great right there? Is the regen shields. Shame they're not in this patch.
Yeah, also what would have been great would have been a Cypher nerf. Also not in this patch.
Oh man, that half second. Dude, these players are praying to the hills. Nice shots, Flare. Dude, this kid's nuts.
Another one, too. They're just playing an aim duel between the two of them. Ziff actually managed to land 2 by the end of the exchange, but it's not the close of the round for his team. And again, like we were talking about, right? It's just, they're all playing off meta disadvantages as soon as any one of them tries to go for these side hits. And they're pretty much just contacting up almost every one of these hits each time.
Yeah.
Like hoping to see if they can, perhaps look to make their way in, which, hey, I respect it. But, you can see how it's making the round such coin flips, especially for, I see like TSM, who, you have incredible aimers too, but, in terms of drill hits, I'm just not seeing there just yet. A trade of smokes though, and as again we're looking towards mid. They did this just 3 rounds ago, and that turned out to be chaos.
Yeah,
they found my wire.
I think aim-wise TSM is slacking a little bit this map. Again, I'm not surprised. I don't think they had time to warm up before this game. I think GMB might have just like woken up. I wouldn't be surprised.
Nah. I give Guimond more credit, bro. He's a Frenchman. He respects himself. Montreal bagels are banger. It was Sim doing his own thing in the back. Gets away in the smoke with nobody peeked around him by the 2. So makes a space for his team as he holding the smoke towards the back 2 to come around. And Cypher coming through mid here. Moves, taking his time to try to see if he can catch any sort of back angles. But the rest of them just holding all on this cluster.
Oh yeah, we haven't gotten to talk about moves at all. It's so good to see him back in comp. I know he said he was focusing on his studies for a little while this past semester, but off season coming back. Apparently, midterms are not enough for the boy. He wants more. He wants to play for one of the biggest prize pools in the off season in this country. Region. I should say region. Canada.
Thank you. No problem. Yeah, Moose wants to be locked in for another season of just weekly scrims and an incredible amount of games.
Yes, sir. Collegiate Valorant grinds. Okay, Sim.
Oh, God. Oh, Jerry.
Get her done. Okay. Good kills. Both sides. There's not much you do there if you're Winthrop. You can't really enter at that point.
I really want to see that kill from Josh's perspective, because the tracking must have been good enough that he anticipated the slide, definitely heard the run,
right,
and just got that done. Because I find that's been what plagues a lot of pros, because you don't track for Neon, you track for normal movement, like AD and jump spotting, not, like Speedy Gonzalez.
Cage trigger.
It's bad, but as one of the last we're talking about aiming and such too, clearly the aimers there on both sides starting to hit as well. Winthrop waking up, but Rolling Thunder being set up on the other end from the side of Nashi to go through mid.
This is so weird.
I mean, I think they actually probably heard the mid hit, so I don't think they're gonna fight here, because they would be just flipping the round for not, and TSM as well too, backing away, moving the spike over to B. They'll be faced with an Omen if they do go any further. And Prowler doesn't catch any more info, but Sim does get one.
And they'll double back, thinking that probably both of the initiators in top mid rotated, so they have a more open A site. But Nazi did stay put, and he's got everything except that fault line to hold on to, so could be able to counter at least one of these and try and slow this down, which is what so much of Sunset defense, unfortunately, is all about. Unfortunately, Nazi picking the wrong channel. TSM turn the other way. Through Link they go, and it's a 5-man stack on A site. Again, it is tough to do anything unless Infiltrator comes in and nobody can track him.
This is probably the most I've seen anybody utilize A site on Sunset here.
Yeah, that was great.
Yeah, I respect it too, because I find the hits so far from TSM have been pretty much A lanes, especially going from mid to A lane as well too. So it's like they are willing to contact up A to try to get a pick off first. So and then from here, if they don't find it, They just full rush in, 5-stack it. It's working out so far. Winthrop haven't been able to stop any of the pushes against them, and clearly they don't want to necessarily attempt here either. They'll just leave it be. They'll save their guns. I think a better call as well. They're only 2 rounds down, and with 3 up, with all Vandals, it's the safest call to make. Infiltrator, don't peek this.
Yeah.
Don't do it, man.
They also, I imagine they really, okay, good kill. I imagine they really don't want to hand this this ultimate to T-Dog this round as well, so that, you know, Sim can stand alone with this overdrive. And you have a lot on the other side in the bank for Winthrop. But it was really unfortunate that both initiators happened to be on top mid and got smoked out. That meant you had almost no counter flash, almost no counter util to that market push. At least that could be timed right. You saw that Nazi was trying to walk through that smoke to engage a little bit earlier, just time it right, but it's so hard to. Infiltrator attempts to duel the Neon. Sim is ready for it, and actually does train to swing for Neons.
Yeah. Hardstreet actually doesn't catch anything here either, too. So with that, they should know, at least in terms of the anti-info, that it shouldn't be any sort of push coming in. But because the anti-info, they're not expecting people here, and now with that, Sim's life goes for naught. There's still 4-stacking, moving towards B, and they have the Cypher anchoring with Nashi on the side, so he can just move in to help defend, put on the fault line too from the side. So TSM are effectively slowed down, and they may just be crunched depending on what they decide to do from here.
Yeah, a lot of versatility with where you can spend your util here. Moobs, really great roam back to B side. That's really solid neutral game sense. But it does let Ziff go in a little bit undeterred, so you do have a second angle to watch from. That's why Nazi's here though. And with the blind, oh, that's so tough, dude. Left. Did that trigger fully go through? Nazi's ult might be gone, dude. That's really rough.
I think it did, because I did hear almost move to the 4K and Ziff and Gyn.
Retrieve the spike.
We're talking about the Cypher not being nerfed, but not like this. Both these Cyphers were disgusting picks. Started off the clutch and Flare with the jumping out, not even needed. And Flare with the clutch jump spot B for naught. Flare takes Winthrop up to 5.
Nazi gets 5 assists this round, and Flare clutches up harder than anyone I've ever seen. Oh man, what? God, Moves just stood there for 3. That's really unfortunate, man.
Yeah, yeah, it is.
But I mean, good entry by TSM, and again, timing has always been their forte. It's just their aim, unfortunately, has not been as up to par as they'd like it to be on this attacking half. Look, 7-5 is like nothing to sniff at if you're Winthrop. That's a really solid defense to be proud of. Okay.
Yeah, you know, I think we take it today, especially considering how flip-floppy some of these rounds on Sunset can be. But especially if you are T-sided, you want to make sure that, you know, you're maintaining your composure, you're calm, and looking to just execute just all these context side hits, which have been done over and over again by TSM. Very similar to what we've seen before, though. This time, no mid lane, but still outside of A. The site is wide open, mind you. And is waiting for full retake. Here comes the fatal. They catch only one person off of it. And Nashi's waiting around the wings, passes smoke to get the one, but Sim's already in. They have the smoke for his cover, but Infiltrator's ready for it. One more down. Guimon waiting for the response, but one more's coming their way. He barely managed to get out into his own smoke. And Flare on the timing barely looks away, allowing Ziff to get one of his own in the round. Now left in 3v3. Make that 2.
Move's able to cut back from the flank, but that leaves it to a 1v2. Jerk is able to hold the angle from Link, though. And now Winthrop can storm A site. 7 has his work cut out for him, and no fault line to back it up. As long as they push now, which they kind of have to. Spike is ticking away. Both shock darts not landing, but still now 30 HP. One more bullet to do it, and Moves can just take one more step. Great cycling from that defense. Just incredible prioritization of who should go in first at what period of time. I mean, everyone managing their health and sidestepping so well that round on a tight angle like Link. That's great discipline against TSM here.
And even half. And a half that I think both Winthrop and TSM are pretty okay with, considering Winthrop started off with a pretty solid first couple rounds, right?
Yeah.
And for TSM, it ended up being a comeback for the next three. So, but ends up being just trades by the end between the two of them, considering that no rounds I find really looked in either team's favor.
Yeah.
It just seemed to be who managed to survive with more people, or who managed to or who managed to execute either a post plan better. Because like with all the off angles that are being peaked from both these sides, like I imagine we'll get the same chaotic mid rounds that we've been getting pretty much the entire day.
We'll see if the mechanics off continues in the pistol round. Moobs continues his streak these past couple rounds of being tuned in. That's it, procced away by the recon. It's the easiest swing in the world for the Neon. WU will fully overtake B-Site. Moobs, unfortunately, cannot win the swing against Sim. And it'll be a 3v4 post plant against a slightly weakened WU.
There's all holding corners, waiting for the one that to come in. Two on a crossfire, but if just pigtails get seen. Okay, all right. Shook luckily there for the recovery to make sure Sim goes down. And now left in a 1v2, it's the Frenchman. It's Guimont. What can you get done here, man? It shoots up the dart. They knows when to peek and flare. Catches the timing when he would be distracted and takes him out, leaving Winthrop up one once again.
Once again, yeah, working off of advantage and turning it into a basically impossible to defend against play. You reduce randomness in each round, makes it a hell of a lot easier to play your way. And so Winthrop will indeed play their way in the follow-up, getting all of the guns and goodies they could ever want, which means they'll get to play with A-Site more. Hooray!
I'll find you.
Yippee!
Oh.
Okay. No, he's dead. He's so dead. Jumping into four or something I don't recommend to anybody.
It was like, this haunt didn't work. I still gotta find out if they're here or not, man.
Oh my god, it's jumping in. Why is that accurate? God, please, why?
Oh my god.
Only left alive. This is pretty much how the second half went, right? It was just, I was two for Winthrop in quick succession, and for Sim, probably get one more. Fortunately, just a body shots to land, and it'll leave them up two again. But this is the story of the first half, and TSM naturally managed to make the comeback in round by round, and even move forward by one or two. So I expect a similar feat, but defense can be a whole different ballgame, especially on a map like this.
For sure. TSM still have... Oh.
This goes here.
There you go. Still have a lot in the bank. And only get better with time. I'm so glad that all of these matches are best of threes. It'll be nice to see all these teams have enough time to really flourish.
Camera taken out.
Sometimes they just need to get back in the groove.
Cage triggered.
No better way than to play some more games. The paranoia to put out towards the left side, so they managed to land on at least three. But still, it doesn't stop the pressure looking to push in. And no one has actually stopped them on either different corner. It's Flare versus Sim. Sim comes on to get 1-for-1 here with 4 left alive. They're looking to make their way outside, but they're still waiting for the plant to actually come down. And TSM are giving them that space to allow them to move in. But from here, the quite the issue is that they only have Sim's ultimate, and Sim's only one on the side fragging. He takes 2 more, moves on the other end, but Sim to clear them all.
He gets that?
Oh my goodness.
3 people looking at him, and he gets that?
I'm saying, bro. What do you mean by that, brother?
Dude. Has T-Dog always been T-Dwag? Am I crazy? Did I get Mandela affected? Or did he change it just for this?
I didn't notice that. I don't know.
Okay, that makes me feel better. That makes me feel better.
That's gonna bother me so bad. You know what? Maybe someone in the chat can answer us if that's like his like rank like IGN or something, right? Just
maybe
here.
Like I'll check after the game is over. Just T-Dwag is crazy. It's so...
It's very his evil very, alter ego.
Yeah, it's very woo coded. I don't like it. Anyways, a triple stack up. What's going to be the mid peek off? Nothing found as both sides were eventually smoked off though. But this is similar stuff that we saw from Winthrop as well too, except this time they're keeping the Omen close.
Which I think is the right call. I think at this point it's just better to dump. Paranoias earlier are kind of how Winthrop is able to just make such decent space. I don't really care about Yuto dumping from Boba. If you're able to hold the crunch from main, then be my guest. Swing in from Infiltrator, actually swings back out of the smoke and actually ends up working in WU's favor because it extends the fight just that little bit longer. TSM still stuck in the back line and Nazi is going to cut out the middleman until Sim will become the middleman. He'll get inside with the overdrive now and it's just going to say, screw it, let's find moves, let's find Infiltrator, let's play some Neon today, and Infiltrator will say, I am also playing that character, and I'm on 6 HP and you are not. Winthrop University up 9-7.
Okay.
Go.
I have to give a shout out to Infiltrator there for firstly having the cognizance for, just like, kind of just giving up his teammate, but then also from there, landed some really body shots, but then realized that he can't take a perfect duel, was, I believe, mid-reload, mind you, managed to jump into the corner and then retake the peak after that and win that fight as well. That was seriously impressive. And also because of the Neon ult being fired consistently, Sim also had to stop or else he would fear being burnt out. So that was like a perfect like clash of scenarios that allowed him to get out on top. So that was well done by them and allowing them to just barely maintain the lead once again.
And it's just yet another example of what will become a bygone era, that this map really is just a playground for Neon when there's no error in your aim. It is these angles are the perfect. It feels like they built it with. It feels like Neon is the architect of this map. Genuinely, the chokes are so perfectly suited for her slides, and also her relay bolts. Are you kidding? The ricochets are so consistent on this map for that for those stuns. At least more than other maps. At the very least, nerfing run and gun will make her a tougher, like, insta-lock on other maps before she was going to get just out of control. But this Sunset might still be a good home for her.
Maybe. We definitely don't want her to be a mainstay anymore in any of these maps, sadly, especially because, like, you were looking at Haven. I think even Haven Neon would do well because old Neon did pretty okay. Shout out to the times of back when Food was playing her.
Dude.
On I believe there was still Envy back then too. And
yeah,
Food,
that's like deep cut.
Food also knows Victor now as well. Was he was solo anchoring A with his shock bolts as well, and so they would just play full retake on Envy. God, I remember watching those games, an old head in Valorant, but it was cool. By the way, if you're wondering, we just had a player disconnect. It's gonna be back now, so we're all good and should be ready to get back into the game in just a couple of seconds.
Another reminder, we also have Ambrosia versus Lemonade Stand, the other match that's going on in this group stage 4-team double elimination tournament over on Knights Arena. If you have the extra RAM, if you have the extra monitor, tab, whatever, however you watch this, check out that game. It's two really fantastic tier 2 teams that have essentially the same rosters that they did. We're going to watch one of those teams in the match after this one, in the winner's bracket. So study up.
That is correct. In fact, Ambrosia's already 1-0 up in that game.
No shot. Are you kidding me?
Yeah. They are 1-0 up, 13-4 on Abyss. Adios mio.
That is brutal. Wowzers. Holy.
And it's my go Screwface on Ambrosia. Let's go, Kyle. Sorry.
Oh, yeah, no, he's so back. No, that squad is... Well, there's a good chance we'll get to talk about them in a little while.
I'm excited.
Question is, who do they face? Because these are still some pretty 50-50-ish rounds we're seeing. TSM's aim has not steadily outpaced WU's the way I imagine a lot of Ascension viewers might expect. Sim is still here, though, and Sim is still kicking until Jerk is able to deal with the rest of that chip. Infiltrator spots a moment's ultimate, and a Paranoia will easily trounce that. Now it's a question of how much of Winthrop chooses to fight the rest of this. There's still plenty of Yuto to completely shut this down. Plenty of gun, though, for Jerk to hold on to just a little bit longer until the rest of TSM can hold on to some Vandals and a round to call their own, reducing the gap back to 1.
The Paranoia actually put out to stop the Neon from running in past the breach ultimate was so big. So that completely blinds 2 of them from pretty much eliminating what could have been a decimation of almost the entire side of attackers being run through.
This goes here.
But a great piece of util, which is why once again, because he talked about how Omen being so prevalent, being so strong
This is a nice
in
spot.
almost every comp possible. Which so the nerfs on 9.10, which is not this patch, mind you, everybody watching, right? As next patch afterwards, we're still on 9.09. Still why they may be prevalent, but we can talk more about Blind's util as Sim unfortunately will get to use none of his.
Yeah. They are definitely privy to that play by this point. Good setup, but also another great lurk by Moves, who will find Ziff on the walk back from B, which will also force GMD to stay put a little bit longer. That's not good if WU starts winning fights. They aren't just yet. 7 can trade it back out, but Jerk, far angle on the elbow. Good catch, making it another 2v2 again. Moobs does not have access to a gun. Sim is playing cold, but also on low health. Doesn't matter if you find the head. Up to 3 this round, and who knows? I gotta check the tally after this round because it's decent. Good double swing. Sim, sometimes the slide is simply to throw your body at the problem, and it is. Now tied up at 9. How many kills does Sim have now?
We'll find out
25!
right now. 25 and 17.
Woo!
Not too shabby from Sim.
Not too bad, kid. You'll do fine here on TSM.
You think so? Huh? But
I think the fans might like this guy.
yeah, I think he might have a pretty fruitful season, right? Maybe even get a shot at tier 1. Who knows? But yeah, it is interesting seeing Sim back here, right? Considering the trial that he and just a bit of the offseason that he had working with EG, seeing him some offseason tournaments as well too.
Yeah.
And I find there were moments of some really incredible bright spots, but some that, you know, he may have looked a bit nervous as well too. So maybe kind of like, you know, playing into a bit back and forth in decision making. Now, I don't know what either side is thinking, but you know, either way, I do hope Sim and all you gotta get the shot once again with the rise back up. Speaking of Sim though, just see one T-Dog peeks into it, not really putting crossfires past that. Now she immediately gets out, slide in, that's 1, but there's 2 there. So the double P doesn't unfortunately work out, even though 1 was concussed, and now losing 2 off rip for TSM could be extremely detrimental. Move spotted, but it doesn't matter. He's ready to peek, and now once again puts on the cage. He's so low health. The spam through GMD. Which way you look here is crucial as the cage looks to fall. Moose sees the gun and is gonna D around. He's gonna slowly strafe away. Presses the A, one more. Eventually, in a game of centimeters, lands the shot and recovers the round potentially. But now for TSM, it's just 7 left. Johan, I've seen you do 1v5s before. How about now?
And now.
Yeah, that's the...
This is the 1v5 position right here.
I mean, it's possible, right? He would have to take 4 incredible duels. To be fair, you know, Nu is already pretty much dead. Nashi as well taking a piece of damage. Infiltrator doesn't have any shield either, so it'd be tough. I don't think he'd actually senses anybody coming here, but considering Winthrop, you know, they've shown a propensity to just double up a lot of these types of angles, and with crosses like that, there are no chances. And another round in their favor.
So as we kind of, I don't know, it's almost like a 3-legged race to the finish line here between WU and TSM. Tied at the hip, it seems. Just
This goes here.
really nothing but back and forth when it comes to the gun diff. I think util trades have been decent on both sides. I think
Deep breath.
positioning has been decent on both sides. Everyone certainly knows how to play this map.
Scanning ahead.
WU sitting against a lit up Sim who has another overdrive. He's going to proc it mega early here into just moves.
Go, go, go.
WU will take that as a sign to rush down A site. Luckily, TSM is ready for that because the rest of them are stacked right here. The perfect bait into Infiltrator. It now works perfectly. Now they have to do the rushing, though, and with the help of the Nightfall, it's a lot easier to do it undetected. Only losing one on the way out, and TSM easily ties us back up.
That was beautiful util from TSM. From Sim shock bolts to the tether from T-Dog. And then of course the second concuss on top of that from Seven. And with the paranoia stacked on top from GMD. It's one layering on top of the next, lending to a beautiful symphony.
This goes here.
A pick after pick. The stack from Winthrop. Red early. And taken out with great effectiveness. These are the rounds I need to see from TSM. They try to make the way back in, especially on Winthrop's map. Pick. Sim slowed down, has to put up the wall, but Infiltrator catches Seven trying to come around for the defense. Sim now gone as well too, and GMD got looking to face Soul results. One by one, they all fall. This is the exact opposite of what I wanted, guys. This is not it.
Winning your fights.
Nice, T-Dog.
TSM. T-Dog. Well, hello.
Tyler.
Here's 3 for you. Good way to get back on the board, and Ziff is on full health. Flare is on 1, but will ult to get this spike back, and Jerk is early from Tiles. What a strange place to be that'll net WU the round, but just barely after T-Dog had a nice clutch there.
T-Dog finally been a bit quiet for a lot of these rounds, but
doubled his kills.
Yeah, getting getting a beautiful 3. Allowing himself to at least be a bit more involved in the game. And now, to be fair, util has been good, right? The Haunt and the Tethers have been playing well for his team, but I haven't seen much of a chance for him to get involved into the actual kill feed. But here, though, a close game, but no cigar, sadly. And once again, we run back to the same strat. T-Dog flash survives.
Yeah, but Infiltrator's at least in now, right? He'll step into the back. Yeah, this is the kind of fast lane that they wanted to go with, and now that they're not stacked, it's a lot easier too. But T-Dog's util able to slow down again, and the stack is back here. But Flare, good cut up through the smoke, able to somehow find 7.
Off your feet!
Speaking of finding 7, GMD finds moves. And they push the way back through spawn. They have one left on side. The North T-Dog either. It's just one with a stinger, and one is all he'll get, but it's good enough for now. So the rest of his team, Sim,
I'm out of here.
with a nice little quick peek against slides in. What was that from Sim? Breaking Flare's legs. Leaving just Jerk alive on the outside, having to see the spike against 3, and it's the boy Sim. Another triple, putting up above a 30 bomb in this game.
Yeah, he's grabbing this Infinity Gauntlet in this twilight of the map. Got to do it twice more here, but already halfway back to this overdrive that is able to just easily threaten an entire lane. And Infiltrator, unfortunately, has not been as intimidating in Neon, despite the fact that these elbow executes have been pretty well backed up. Those opening kills have just not come as often as they'd like these past couple rounds, and it's let TSM once again slow things down, keep a man advantage, which has apparently been a MacGuffin so far this game, and it lets them hold on to sites a whole lot easier.
Damn, you just out here dropping a word like that? I expect me to know it, bro. What are you doing, man?
Sorry.
All right, just MacGuffin. It's an object or device.
It's like a magical, yeah, like a magical or very important item to a story or something.
Oh,
yeah.
You know, that's pretty cool. So like an essential plot device needed to destroy you along.
Yes.
All right. You know what? That's a fair point. That's kind of cool. And
That goes there.
And the MacGuffin right now for TSM would be Sim at this point.
No doubt.
Yes.
Yeah.
This should
Round after round may not be every single time, but Sim always manages to get involved, and some of these, like taking a 3 as if it's just no problem. There's a reason why this guy was so widely and extremely heralded as one of the best duelists in challenges. Now from here though, they're looking to just gamble stack here, move forward and play off the pair. And yeah, they can actually catch them here. See them, they're running at them.
Top of the blinds. Ooh, Flair's got another one too, but TSM can back out as well. Aftershock, GMD can't. Still a trade along the lane, and oh, look who's here. It's the rest of WU up, and Boba moves. Has managed to find a lurk all the way up to top mid. And meanwhile, the rest of WU can clear out the rest of B main, so it's a 3v1 against a T-Dog that has an outlaw. Oh no.
That's another. Don't do. You might just do this. A ridiculous round will be taken for TSM, losing almost on the save of a brink for match point of their first chance and opportunity to move forward and upper finals and qualify for playoffs.
30 seconds left.
In the next 3 days. Team Solo made a roster announced barely 48 hours ago. With T-Dog now, unfortunately holding one angle and gets crossed upon. Trusting his instincts a bit too much and not wary at all of the danger lurking in the corner.
What a crying shame. But, it comes after such a well-taken fight by Winthrop University. Ultimately, that's not a deserved round win by TSM, and so it's given to the collegiate squad that is one away from taking this first map of the group stage. First map of the tournament. It was their pick going into things. Our map 2 will be Haven, which TSM definitely feel a lot more comfortable in. But still, the fact that they're one out from falling to this and they don't have a great economy for it, that does not spell good for the rest of their tournament run.
Ziff looking... Ziff, I think, just saw so much infiltrability with 3.
I think so.
Around that side, right? That was completely single limits to where they want to go, and now Sim finally opened a pick on Nashi could be big. But Sim has gotten a bit overzealous here too, kind of peeking into halls and dying for that one too many times, and this time playing much careful, not overheating, and playing much more with his team, which is exactly what I want to see. Especially opposite, you take out Infiltrator, and I get an ult onto side with GMD, zip, zap, zap, you flop like a mop, Sim, with moves to clean up the rest. Still a 3v1 for TSM, looking to push us into OT for our first BO3 of the day. As well here, Sam, like we might be in for a long one.
Left.
Between everyone here. Jerk is gonna walk into the tripwire. Shoots it, boom. He has the util out. 7, no.
He's 2 steps away from you, man. He's gonna beat you.
Oh,
what? That missed?
I have
that's
Get him.
crazy.
You know he's there.
One more. No, it's shallow again. So he managed to reposition and nothing move against him. Zivsky's alive, just barely. It's a double peek though. He needs 1 for 1. Jerk for the second. He's gonna be 10. It's Jerk around the corner
My babushka told
in a
me not to
1v3 to push Winthrop for the first map win. As I'm sitting down. What's up?
Yo, there's no way. Holy, how did Jerk hold that? Oh my god.
Dude, there have been so many close as 1v3s this entire game.
There were so many coin flips. That could have gone to 11-13 a million different ways. Oh man.
That could have gone to OT as well.
Every single round was just on the teetering edge of either side. Oh my god. How is...
Dude, TSM had that. They actually had that. I was calling OT. All right.
Well,
with the map pick. Yeah, it is. It's map pick. I'm buttoning it up. It's time to get serious for this. That was crazy. I would go priest mode for this one. We're gonna go ahead and do the top button and lean back a bit as we look to recuperate for map 2. We'll see y'all back here in a couple minutes.